Hello, Jamaica. Hello to the Caribbean and the world.
Happy 62nd Independence, Jamaica.
And this morning, we're going to be talking about independence, but not just political independence as it is, as we know it, but rather financial independence, a scenario where the independent Jamaica is felt by all Jamaican citizens. And with me is Miss Yoneil Wood, news presenter, to talk to me about independence, financial independence.
So for me, Neilson, financial independence means to be able to have an emergency, and I need like a $3 million surgery, and I can pay for it without probably going to my insurance or waiting on them for it. It means that I need to do an emergency flight abroad because there's a death and I need to go. Whether I'm here or if I lived there and I needed to go, then I can just up and go. I don't need to go borrow any money. I don't need to ask anybody for help. That's what it means to me.
That's an interesting take. You know, we went on the streets, Yoneil. It was very interesting to hear what some of the listeners and viewers out there on the street saw as financial independence. Let's go to the streets and hear exactly what the viewers thought.
For me, financial freedom means actually having the time not to be enslaved to your desk for the entire day. So making your money work for you.
Yeah, so for me, financial independence is really having, sort of a safety net. You have your income, but you also want to be able to save and put away funds for later on in life or for things that you might want to do, your bucket list items. And of course, having better knowledge of financial markets and the different options and opportunities available. We can, maximize our investing opportunities, maximize our savings over time, and really prepare ourselves for the future and for any of the activities that we'd want to pursue in our lives. So for me, financial independence is just having the freedom and flexibility to do that and not worry about, having issues later on in life, or my savings running low, or having a tight financial situation. So for me, it's about investing, it's about diversifying, and it's about living comfortably.
So we're back from the streets and you heard the viewers' interesting views on financial independence. And none of these are any of the experts working in any of the financial institutions. But for me, what struck me the most is one viewer that was not on camera, Lisa White. Hi, Lisa. Her view of financial independence, Yoneil, is being able to build toilets in the basic schools that doesn't have any. Being able to build homes for the homeless, to feed the street people without worrying about it and without depending on government.
Okay.
According to her, built in her idea of financial independence is being truly Jamaican, what we used to be, according to words of the National Pledge, in service of my fellow citizens.
Okay.
What's your view on that?
It's very profound because, like I said earlier, to be able to pay for things without wondering where the money is coming from or worrying how it's going to affect you, I think that's the level that everybody needs to get to. And something just popped into my head. I remember years ago a farmer, a female farmer, came on a popular television station and said, "Me no business what Prime Minister do. Me can take care of myself. Me farmer, me can feed myself." So even if the prices go up, it wasn't affecting her. To me, that's where each human being on this island needs to be, because it didn't matter. So yes, she may have to pay for water and light, but she said it wasn't affecting her. And this is a female farmer in a rural area of one of our parishes. Big woman too, because she looked older than 60. But that's what financial independence is to them. But what does it really mean?
For me, financial independence really, it's more than just the words. It is built into planning your life in such a way that you can afford to do those things which are most important to you. And for many people, it's family. It's taking care of the community. It's being able to afford oneself those finer things in life. And it's different from many people. It's different from person to person. There's no one size fits all for financial independence. But more importantly, is being able to plan to achieve those set goals. And as in the words of one prime minister, it takes cash to care. So it's really trying to get to that level where you have enough of the resources that are required to take care of those needs that yourself and your family, and even your wider community, friends, etc., may have.
But is it always about cash, though? Because there's a couple that came on a food program. They live way up in the hills. They barely come down into the town. They just grow their food, their herbs, their grown provisions, anything at all they want, their spices. They just grow them. I think it's in deep rural St. Andrew. And they barely come down into the town. And they live up there, breathe fresh air. To me, they're independent.
They are. Incidentally, another viewer said to us, again, not on camera, but the viewer referred to a popular Jamaican reggae music song that says, "I'd rather be on the hillside," away from the crowd and all the things that are going wrong. I'd rather be up on a hillside where I can basically take care of myself. I can take care of my needs. And so again, while we seem to have focused on the cash, the finances to do it, I think essentially it really is being able to access the resources, not just cash, the resources at will to take care of those needs and wants.
So I'm going to go another direction or a little step further. So I may need $10 million a month to take care of my monthly needs. Somebody else who has $100,000 may believe that they're financially independent because everything that they need, resources, whatever to pay for, they're good on that. They live within a particular means, so to speak, and to them, they're okay. Whereas not necessarily me, but somebody else who decides that $10 million per month is what I need to survive, how do we say to one, "Oh, you're not," while they actually believe because you're fine on the 100 grand per month, as opposing to the person on the 10 mil?
And that's why we say it actually looks different from persons to persons, because it really is the lifestyle that you want to live, the objectives that you've set for yourself.
True.
And being able to fulfill those in a manner that is satisfactory to you and your family.
But what about the lady that says she wants to be able to build a bathroom in a basic school because it goes another way, because I'm thinking that I may be financially independent, but I can't help anybody else. Is that bad?
Again, it depends on what drives you, what is your objective, and how you're able to achieve those objectives. And so for that person, and that's why we say it looks different from persons to persons. But what's very important, I think, is for all Jamaicans to be able to achieve that level where they can be satisfied in saying, I can access the resources I need to achieve my goals.
How do I do that though? You are in the financial sector for years now, decades, I believe. Say I'm a layman, what do I need to do to become financially independent?
Well, I'm happy you asked that question, Yoneil, because right now we are going to go to a break. But once we come back from that break, we shall be hearing from one of the experts who will tell us what it is that we need to do to achieve financial independence.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's the catty? We are going party tonight.
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, catty. I'm securing my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Of course, we're continuing our discussion on financial independence, and we're therefore talking with the experts. Who is more positioned to talk to you about financial independence than Ms. Rose Miller, Manager of Strategic Empowerment Programs at Jane Foundation. Welcome, Rose.
Thank you, Neilson.
I
Great
like
to be
that
here.
title, Strategic Empowerment, and we're
Yes.
talking about financial independence, therefore empowering people.
That's correct.
You're the
You
right
have to have a
person.
strategy.
But financial independence, what is it in your own mind? What does it look like?
I think, Neilson, I would want to move it from my own mind to what actually works.
Yes.
And most experts agree that financial independence is achieved once you're able to have enough savings, enough investment, enough passive income, and all of that to take care of your expenses without depending on a regular income from a regular job, you know? So you have attained financial independence when that happens.
Because you don't have to be depending on a 9-to-5
Regular
living paycheck
salary,
to paycheck.
yes. Yes.
Well, it seems you've answered the second question, which really is, what are the basics that one should have in place to say, I have attained financial independence, if it's at all attainable?
It is attainable. And not just elsewhere, but also here. You know, but you really do need to know what are the basics, what are the various strategies. So let's talk a little about that. I would want to start with your setting goals. And those goals would also include, when do I want to attain financial independence? You know, what kind of lifestyle do I want during this independence? Because that is going to drive how much you actually need.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, so you set your goals, and your goals must include some of those. It's also very important for us to ramp up our financial education because we want to be able to spot opportunities from way down the road. And that happens when you have your financial antennas way up.
Yes, knowledge.
Then we also, knowledge, pursue it daily, you know, because this area of finances is very wide.
Yes.
You know, you will never know everything about it. And then that will teach you how to utilize the various tools that you can use to attain financial independence. And you might ask, what are those tools? Yes. Right. So the first tool we want to put out there is you must learn how to budget properly. And budgeting is going to include things like your emergency fund, your saving, and so on. So master the art of budgeting. That's tool number one.
Yes.
And then you must save. Incrementally, you must set something aside. There is the saying, pay yourself first. And it actually means put something aside for you. You have worked hard, so pay yourself. Instead of paying the landlord and the bank, and pay yourself first. So you actually have something being accumulated over time. And as you budget, we also want you to use, going a little back to budgeting, we also want you to use what we term the 10-10-80 formula. Now, there are many formulas out there, but we work with the 10-10-80.
10-10-80 formula.
And you know what a formula is. If you want to successfully do something, you use the formula, try, test it, proven, and you're on your way. All right, so 10%, we're going to pay ourselves first, right?
Right.
So that's our first 10%.
The next 10.
Next 10%, you would not believe what the formula says about that 10%. Want to guess?
Interesting. Want to hear it.
You don't want to guess. You want me to tell you.
Waiting to hear with bated breath.
So that 10%, we're going to give it away. I know that would cause your jaw to drop. Yes. We're going to give it away.
Okay.
Take a second or two to digest that.
Yes. I've never heard that one before.
All right.
So 10 we put on, save 10.
We're going to give away 10, yes. And that might mean your tithe, that might mean just charitable organizations or so on. You know, because you understand that charity plays a huge role in society.
It does.
Somebody has to pay it, eh? Okay. And then it's the 80% that you're going to use to take care of all your expenses.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
And many would say, but that's not enough. Yes, we agree, that's not enough. That's why
So you might still need to improve the earnings so that you can...
So that's where I'm going to go next.
All right.
So look out for opportunities to increase your stream of income. We must, if we're thinking financial independence. It's not going to happen with a 9-to-5 in a hurry. So look out for opportunities to improve your streams of income. And because we are humans and we only have so much time and so much energy, we're talking about passive income in this space. And there are so many opportunities for passive income. So many. You want me to talk about a few of those?
Let's talk about the passive income, because if there are so many opportunities, how come more Jamaicans are not seeing that passive income?
Some people are seeing the light, but it's going to take some time, but there are a lot of persons who are seeing the light and moving forward. And congrats on doing a program like this, because it is exchanges like this that more people are going to know that, hold on, whoa, you mean I can achieve that too? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right, so some of our passive income, we want to start with the internet. Wow.
The internet?
Yes.
So we on the internet every day, Facebook, WhatsApp.
It's not just about chat. It's not about TikTok and stuff like that. It's about finding ways where you can build your capacity, firstly. So if there's a gap in knowledge or whatever, you can actually utilize the internet to improve yourself so that you can acquire new skills, you become more marketable, and all of that. So we want to start there.
All right.
And then let's talk about the e-commerce that's possible on the internet. That's a huge one. And it is so wide that most people can find something there for them to do to acquire passive income. And then we know the regular, I'm at the stock exchange, so I could never not say purchase stocks. I probably would not leave here. But yes, you can purchase equities or stocks, another word for equities, and get dividend from stocks that you purchase, improve the, get capital gain because the price of the stock has gone up. So there's that also. And there real estate as well. That's something that a lot of people are getting the vibes where that is concerned. So they are going into Airbnb, they are purchasing stocks related to real estate on the market. Because if you think that, well, I'd really like to get into real estate, but we don't have the money.
You don't have the capital outlay.
You don't have the capital outlay, right? You don't have to think of purchasing a property. That's awesome if you can, but you can also purchase stocks and be part of that as well.
Yes.
What else can we do in terms of passive income? Oh, the creative people are ahead of the game here.
Oh,
You know,
yes, they are.
if you have innovations and all of that, passive income. You can write a book. Man, money keeps coming in. So passive income is one of the big ways to get to financial independence, because as we say, 9 to 5, it's not going to happen in a hurry.
Not gonna happen. All right. So you pointed out some very interesting things that people haven't always looked at. But what I hear by and large is that it's not a one-size-fits-all.
No, it is not.
It doesn't look the same way for everybody.
Of course not. Not. Financial independence definitely does not look the same way for everybody. And that is because nobody gets the opportunity to determine how you live your financial independent life. That's very personal, just something like your budget, you know?
Yes.
Everybody's budget is going to be different. You determine what your
what your
independence
life
looks
is.
like. And so you might not be like the Bill Gates and the Lee Chins and so on. That's kind of the gold standard.
Yes. Premium.
So, yeah, premium. So that's not what we're talking about at all. If that's the lifestyle you want, then you better be putting things in place, strategies in place, so you can achieve that lifestyle, you know, if that's what independence means to you. Then there are others, like those people in the FIRE movement. Ever heard of them?
No, not the
Yes,
FIRE
those are the
movement.
people who, it's financial independence, retire early.
Oh.
So they have determined that working until 60, 65, that's not for me.
That's not for them at all.
No, I'm going to retire in my 30s or before. And so independence is going to look very different
For those
for those people. But they have determined that this is what I want to do. This is going to be my lifestyle, my independence. And so they have strategized to make sure that that happens. And remember the definition we gave, once you're able to have sufficient saving, investment, passive income to cover your expenses without depending on a regular job,
9-to-5
you
job.
are financially independent. And so those FIRE people,
Is that really attainable in this Jamaican economy?
it is. Not easy, not easy, but these things that we're talking about are not confined to our global citizens out there.
If-
It is also here.
I like the FIRE movement that you put in the discussion, because the question is, how early should one start then to prepare oneself to achieve this financial independence? Should it be, you know, when I really get into the job, or when I get the increased pay and or pass the big exams and get the promotion? How early should I really start to
Do you know
prepare?
you can start as young as you want?
Really?
And this is where, yes, this is where parents have a huge role to play.
Okay.
A lot of our very wealthy people, you know, they get set up from parents.
Yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
So their parents have portfolios for them as they grow. And then they just tap into it when they are able to, you know. There was this young girl at church, and she would be selling like sweets every now and again. And we asked her, what is it that you want to do with this money? She said she wanted to buy a house. This was a child, not even 10.
She
A
is
lot of
starting on
mindset.
that goal.
A lot of mindset. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the things that Warren Buffett will tell you. And you know, Warren Buffett, he have more money
Oh,
than he know
yes.
what to do with. He will tell you he started investing early.
Very early.
The earlier you start, the better. And you know, as you know, you don't need no whole heap of money.
No.
You just hear IPO going down $1 each. You read it up and it's okay. Yeah,
Talk to your
$1,000,
investment
$2,000.
advisor.
Yeah,
You
and you
invest.
start and you gradually build your portfolio. Gradually, very often, you put something, you add something to the portfolio. You know.
Would you say for the country, the island of Jamaica, that it's better to have more people who are financially independent?
Without a doubt. In fact, Jamaica is waiting on its citizens to get this message. Because it's going to be so important for the country. The country, just like in your own personal situation, if you are financially independent,
Yes,
you're gone clear, right?
absolutely.
Same thing for the country. When we have more people who understand this and are actually working towards it, then the country is going to benefit big time, because it means that our people understand the value of saving and investing.
What would you say to the persons who say, well, on my salary, I can't afford to save anything?
Not true.
Is that a reality?
No. We all have money to save. It's just that we don't know it.
We all have money to save.
We all have money to save.
The little girl in the BPO.
Yes, we all have money to save. Because if we don't do that, Neilson, what's going to happen to us? If we have this mindset 10, 20, 30 years, and we still maintain this mindset, what's going to happen?
The issue, therefore, is the mindset and the garnering of the knowledge.
The knowledge, utilizing it, going after things and strategies and whatever will allow you. There's no place for laziness, right?
Absolutely.
Absolute productivity, increasing your knowledge, utilizing that knowledge, knowing how to use the tools, delaying some gratification. You know, not wasting money. There is no space for wasting of resources.
Absolutely.
No space at all. Every dollar must be working very hard for you.
Yeah. There's this new term, generational wealth. That's making the rounds these days.
Making the rounds.
People generally see it as the rich man leaving something for his kids. But is it possible that somebody who may not have had wealth could begin that process of creating generational wealth by doing the things that you spoke about and building up for the next generation to achieve that financial independence, even if I don't achieve it?
Love that. And that is so true. We have to get there. Yes. I spoke already about some persons that make sure that their children have equity portfolios. That's a part of that, you know. But if you're not in that space, your family is not wealthy, you can start. You can get the knowledge, you can start, and you can not just get the knowledge, you can action the knowledge, and then you can share the knowledge. In those family meetings, get everybody on the same page. Give them the vision, plant it, so that they will know, hold on, yeah man, it's time this family come out of poverty. We're tired of the poverty around this place, you know? But it is possible. And another thing that you can also use, and I omitted to mention it earlier as one of the tools, because we're traveling very fast, is actually insurance. Now, many of our people, they are not into insurance because they think it's thieving business. People, insurance is one of the vital tools we can use to get to financial independence. And many of us would just love for one of those insurance companies to call us to say, please come and collect a check because so-and-so had you as a beneficiary and they have passed. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. Indeed. And you just collect your $2 million check and you move on.
I'm waiting on my call.
So we can actually use insurance to pass on, to transfer wealth to the next generation. And we should keep our eyes on improving each generation when it comes to our financial independence. You know, we can't just, my generation poor, next one poor. No, we have to break the cycle.
Cycle has to be broken.
Yes, and it can be broken, even in Jamaica here.
Yeah. Rose, I want to thank you very much for coming and sharing with us. As we look to wrap, what would you want to leave on the minds of the viewers on Jamaica's Independence Day?
Yes, Jamaica needs to be truly independent, and it happens when we are financially independent. And so every Jamaican has a part to play. Every Jamaican can save, every Jamaican can work towards that, every Jamaican can pass on the knowledge, and every Jamaican can action the knowledge you glean from in the financial space. I want you to learn something new every single day. There's a whole lot to learn when it comes to the matter of money and finances. It is a mindset, and we need to change our mindset if we think we are born poor and we're going to die poor. There is no such thing. And I say to, especially my young people, you have no reason to be poor. Yes, I said that. Let me repeat it. You have no reason to be poor. even if you are born poor. There are just too many opportunities available now for you to move out of that state. So you have no reason to be poor. Get out there and make it happen. And after you have garnered the knowledge, do share the knowledge so that we can have a movement of persons who are heading towards financial independence. Jamaica is going to be much better off for it.
I'm trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
I'm also trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
Start a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Check jamstockx.com for information and a list of registered stockbrokers. You can also call the Jamaica Stock Exchange at 876-967-3271 for information on how to begin. I am achieving my financial goals.
I'm achieving my financial goals.
Welcome back to our special independence feature here on CBX, the station that keeps giving you information to make better financial decisions. On our Independence Day, Jamaica, we're very happy that you're here with us. Yoneil, so you now would have gotten significant pieces of information on how to properly plan to achieve your financial independence.
True. And I think I've started a little bit of it, but I need to do a whole heap more investment.
Absolutely. Because investments is what will bring you that passive income and help you to grow and your money to be working while you are
While
working.
I'm sleeping, while I'm at work. And we actually work at the what? Perfect place for persons to invest in.
Absolutely.
We're at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, where you have over 100 companies that you can purchase stocks, earn from, and please don't think it's a get-rich-quick mentality. You know, you leave it there for years and you keep on just earning.
You know, it's funny that you talk about working at the stock exchange. I looked on the numbers yesterday, and would you believe, in a market in Jamaica where people would tell you that the market is down and not much is happening, the top three performing stocks on the Jamaica Stock Exchange up to July 31st have earned in the region, the top stock has given over 48% returns. The next one has given over 38, and the next one is at 30 odd also.
So you're not telling us which top stocks those are?
I'll give you those when we come back to another program. But the important thing is, even once you're investing, the possibility is there to grow your wealth and get further on the road to financial independence.
True. Okay. Anything else that I need to learn how to be financially independent? Not just me, but our public as our gift on Independence Day.
Well, before we go to the next segment, where we're going to hear again from another expert at GK Capital, before we go to that expert, I want to go back to the streets again, just to hear again the viewers' view of financial independence.
So financial independence, when I think about financial independence, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is a song from Bob Marley, when it says that we should free ourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. And when you are free like that, I think about us in the financial realm. We always think about saving and the importance of investing. Because when you truly save, to me, that's how you can be financially independent. You know, you can rely on yourself. For myself, I always save, and if I need anything, I borrow from myself. We always encourage, especially here at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, we always encourage equity financing than debt financing. And that's how you can truly be independent and free.
Being financial independent would mean that I would be able to acquire a goal, for example, a house within a certain amount of time, without being depending on anyone for help.
My view for financial independence is I will be able to help myself much better in going back to school, helping my siblings and my other family members.
To be able to finance my family without have to worry, pay all the bills and live some life when I'm older.
So there you have it. Again, it seems our people are well informed. They all have their ideas, from just wanting to be able to take care of family to achieving the utmost.
You know what I want to encourage them though? I keep on hearing this of late that we need to stop dreaming and wake up. So you know, all of us have ideas, but we need to start executing them.
Absolutely. And Jamaica, we can do it. But let's go to GK Capital, who will tell us what their view of financial independence is.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's the catty? Me and you go party tonight.
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, catty. I'm securing my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Of course, this being the independence season, you know the conversation is always about, are we truly independent? Well, let's look at it from a financial perspective. Is financial independence truly attainable? And so we have in studio with us this morning Mark Gilzeane, Head of Wealth Management at GK Capital, to talk to us about what financial independence looks like. Mark, welcome to the show, man.
Good morning, Mr. Rose. How are you doing?
I'm great. Mark, as I said, independence in Jamaica. The argument always is, are we truly independent? What are we celebrating? So financial independence is what comes to mind. Because most time that's what people use to judge whether they're independent. What is financial independence?
Well, financial independence essentially is looking at, so when we enter the working world, we exchange labor and time for money.
Yes.
And from that money, we're able to live.
Yes.
So financial independence is looking at a reality where no, we don't have to work to get money.
Okay.
You know, this money will be derived from investment income, passive income streams that will allow us to survive.
Okay.
Some individuals also will utilize a lump sum of money, which is not recommended, and use from that incrementally to achieve financial independence. Essentially, use this lump sum to live off for the rest of their lives. So that's what financial independence is, and it looks heavily at satisfaction, which varies from person to person. So you have to be satisfied with the lifestyle that you'll be living at that point.
So all right. So is as we always talk about in the investment world, there's really no one size fits all.
Correct.
Would you say the same thing for financial independence? Does it look different from person to person? So the guy who lives in Jacksonville, for instance, is his view of financial independence different from the man downtown?
Absolutely. So a lot of what we are satisfied with is a function of our upbringing. What circumstances were we in, or what have we gotten accustomed to, as it relates to being satisfied in life from our current conditions. The other aspect of satisfaction, as it relates to the varying from person to person, is that you have some people who were born very wealthy. So they have to have a certain standard. They have to have probably 2 living helpers and nanny, 4 cars in the garage in order to be satisfied with life. or somebody else may need a private jet to be satisfied with life. So it certainly is something that's very subjective, and yeah, we can look at it a little bit more.
Well, you started answering the next question, because what I wanted to ask is, what are the basic things that one must have? So if we were to say, take a measure across the social barriers, or across the different spheres in society, societal barriers, what would the basics be that you would say have to be in place for all to enjoy financial independence?
Right. So many would say those are the basic human needs, which would be food and housing. You know, so you have to have shelter over your head, and you have to have food in your belly to survive, and also clothing. Clothing is a part of that.
Yes.
You know, in Jamaica, not so crucial to survival, but in some climates, you can imagine how important it is to be clothed.
Yeah.
So that's the basic form. So you can achieve financial independence by covering your needs. That's the technical definition of financial independence. Once you can cover your necessities, then you can technically be financially independent. However, the satisfaction that you derive from that state of financial independence is heavily now based on what your standards are and the lifestyle that you want to live.
So you're saying it's a lot of it depends on the lifestyle of that person, their standard of living, and what they want to attain. If one should attain this ideal, financial independence, is it attainable one? And if it is attained, can you maintain it?
You know, absolutely. You know, and I'll throw in here, you know, I believe prudent to the conversation is understanding how you get to a place of financial independence. It's going to require, in some stages, for most people, what you call an accumulation stage. So for most people, they'll be earning an income throughout, you know, the early parts of their lives, and the idea is that they should be spending less than they earn in order to be able to accumulate funds towards a stage of financial independence. So kind of going back to your question, if you can remind me.
Yeah. So the thing is, having attained that financial independence, having accumulated all the wealth that you need, and you now look and say, well, I'm financial independent. Can you maintain that level? Is it sustainable?
Absolutely. So what it will require is I look at a few things. Obviously, well, there are three different stages of lifestyle. So you have your current lifestyle that you live as somebody who is working. So you could call that your base, right? Yeah. That's the standard. You can opt to live a lifestyle that is actually below. So what you'll find is, unfortunately, many persons end up in retirement or in a state of financial independence, living a lifestyle a little bit below what they're accustomed to. And then they have those people now who would target living an upgraded lifestyle. What you can use as a measure to determine, all right, what's your number? How much money do you need to have to achieve financial independence now is to factor in, firstly, annual inflation. You need to know, so because the prices of things move up, I believe the last figure would have been about 5.2% annualized. Yes. So every year, essentially, prices go up. Right, so you want to ensure, as somebody who is seeking financial independence, that in your planning to determine a dollar amount to have to start off that base of financial independence, you're factoring in how much money would I need to accumulate to invest to be able to cover an expected rate of inflation in cost of living for my remaining life. You know, so some people live to 70, 80, 90, 100, you don't know what that is going to be. So ideally, you want to ensure that whatever passive income or investment income you're getting, whether it be through real estate, investment instruments, the stock market, you know, the JC, you'd want to ensure that that amount now is giving you a lifestyle that is comfortable for you to essentially be satisfied.
Here's the elephant in the room, because you started out talking about working through spending less than you earn, etc., and thus have something extra to invest or save and so on. Can you really achieve financial independence working a 9-to-5?
Absolutely. And many individuals, actually there is a a little movement they call the FIRE movement. It stands for Financially Independent, Retire Early.
Oh.
And this is where people who have a 9 to 5 primarily would save throughout their lives, their working time. And the aim is to be able to be financially independent at an earlier age to then enjoy the rest of their life, enjoy more of that period of financial independence. So definitely it's something that's going to require an intentional approach. It's going to require sacrifice, you know, so you'd have to be living a lifestyle for a number of years that is below what your salary can accommodate, you know, and then they talk about this thing called lifestyle inflation. Where you because you're earning more money, you know, you start to buy nicer things, you start to want to get a more expensive car, living somewhere that is a little bit more costly, to be in line with the image you see of yourself, now earning this higher income. So you have to, or the other term for it is lifestyle creep. You know, so you have to be mindful of the natural psychological tendency to become a little bit more comfortable. You start to earn more money and want to experience, you know, what I guess we put forward in a capitalist society as, you know, the lifestyle that you need to live when you're earning a certain amount of money. So once you're able to manage that tendency and live a lifestyle that is below your means and that you can set aside some money towards achieving financial independence, then it's something that you definitely can achieve. But it will take, you know, I would recommend automation, meaning have standard savings. So for those people who are not familiar with automation, meaning like a standing order, a salary deduction that you set up.
Something that comes out automatically.
Right, so it takes out of the stress out of you having to, you know, probably get some money, go into the bank, you know, send a wire transfer yourself every single month, you know. So when you have it automated and standard, then it takes a lot of pressure off of you, and you're more likely to be successful in achieving that state.
One of the factors that impacts in a very strong way how we live is something called debt. And I'm talking DEATH, DEBT, debt. So we borrow money. Of course, we do a mortgage, for example. That's debt we take on to ensure that we have that house. So as you talk about that level of satisfaction that we need to enjoy, to say, yeah, I'm financially independent. So I may well have the house and the Mercedes or the BMW or Jaguar, whatever it is, but it is financed by debt.
Right.
Which means I'm going to have to keep working to pay that off. If that's my scenario, am I truly financially independent?
So that's a very good question. One thing we have to really zero in on is the whole concept of what is your interest cost from taking on debt. That's the first thing. So again, coming back to earning and spending or having to expend money, what you certainly don't want to do where debt is concerned is to take on an amount of debt that will not allow you to then get to that accumulation phase. That's an important thing to manage. Another thing with debt is that what you use proceeds from that loan to do is crucial. As we're familiar, you have appreciating assets and you have depreciating assets. So in the Jamaican context, fortunately for the last couple of decades, we've had a real estate market that is appreciating in value. You know, so when one takes out, let's say, a loan of with an interest rate of say 8% per annum to buy a property, that property, based on what I've observed over the last couple of years, will likely appreciate in the region of between 10 and 20% per annum, right? Let's say this property is actually going to be used as what you call an investment property, where you're going to be getting rental income. Rental income, or what they call rental yield, which is a function of your rental income over the value of the property, will be likely between 2 and 5%. So essentially, by taking debt to buy an investment property, you'd be getting between 10 and 20% in appreciation in the value of the property. This is on a conservative basis, you know, 10 and 20% per annum, and also 2 to 5% likely in rental income. So what that means is that what is costing you 8% per annum, you're earning at 12% to even up to 25% per annum on. So in that case, debt is not a bad thing. Now, when one goes, and like many of us do, You know, we see that dream Mercedes Benz, that dream BMW that will communicate to our neighbors and our peers that we've arrived, and we take out a $26 million loan to buy that dream car. Many times you'll see where that will actually, the interest cost along with the principal repayment will put us in a position where we've narrowed that gap between our income and our expenditure. So many times the expenditure comes up right up to the income, and for some people, unfortunately, over because they haven't factored in the other expenses they have on an ongoing basis. So that can really set you back. And then the other thing, when you buy that motor vehicle now, for most motor vehicles, there has been an anomaly in the last couple of years where a lot of car values have appreciated for some vehicles, and if you monitor like the sports car, luxury car segment, there are some vehicles that have appreciated in value, to be fair. That also has to do with, the supply chain issues and so on. But ideally, you are going to be losing money by buying this property, right? So certainly you want, by buying this motor vehicle. Right. So certainly you want to ensure that whatever you're taking out this loan to do is something that is going to be beneficial for you in the long run and adding value to you. Right. So you have to be very mindful of that.
All right. Many times they talk about investing your way to financial independence. Are there asset classes that basically you would say these are the assets that you want to look at as investment assets, and if we do well at these, you're likely to achieve it?
Right. So you asked me, this is in my wheelhouse now. It's a very good question for me, and this is my passion. Yes. So as it relates to the investment instruments that are ideal, what you'll find is that at different parts of somebody's what you call financial life cycle, it's ideal that they have a certain composition of their investment holdings. Generally, people will have a general risk tolerance, right? So to kind of define risk tolerance is you have conservative, which is somebody who is okay getting a low rate of return because they don't want to lose any money. Moderate, they're okay with a fluctuation of say 10 to 20%, but they want above average rates of return. Aggressive is somebody who is willing to risk all of their principal to get the best rate of return, right? So what you'll find is that in that early days when you're young, you can take on more risk, right? So during that period now, that's when you probably want to go a little heavier on like stocks, which are considered generally an aggressive risk instrument. And then what we found is that the stock market, and as you know, a few years ago, the Jamaica Stock Exchange was the top performing stock exchange in the world, right? But what you want to be doing as you're younger is investing in assets like that. Though volatile in performance, typically give the highest rate of return over time. And then as part of that, you want to have a balanced portfolio as well, right? So as you get closer and closer to that stage of achieving financial independence, you're going to certainly want less volatility in your portfolio, right? So at that point now, depending on how wealthy you are, you certainly want your composition now to get into more moderate and conservative instruments that have less volatility. So when you're ready to say, I am becoming financially independent now and I want to live off my income, that's when you can hold things like bonds. So bonds now are, as you know, a loan to either a country or a company. And within bonds, you have, some would say conservatively moderate bonds and aggressive bonds, depending on who you're lending the money to and their financial composition as an entity. But certainly that is one good way now, and I have many clients who utilize bonds as the way to achieve financial independence. So what they do is they leverage bond instruments and get that what you call coupon payments, which is the interest payment that the bond pays on a periodic basis. And they'll buy many different bonds so that every single month they're getting an interest payment and getting an income. And that's a nice way to also preserve your principal. Because remember, with the bond now, you're not using your principal, you're utilizing interest payments to survive.
All right. As we look to wrap it up, Mark, any key word, strategy that you want to leave on the minds of the viewers as they all look towards achieving financial independence?
Yes. So one thing I leave with the viewers is that sacrifice is a good thing. And when I say sacrifice, I'm talking about living a lifestyle that is below your means. That's going to be crucial. And a lot of us, and I would say myself included, are on this thing of instant gratification. So it's very important if we're to be financially independent in the future to ensure that we are willing to do the hard work now, to be very intentional about our approach to our lives, to our income. You know, set aside those funds on a continuous basis. Live a life that is below our means in order to be able to accumulate. And also plan. Set a number that you want to accumulate by a certain time. And at that point, you then understand that based on what you expect to earn from that, you can live a life of true financial independence.
Welcome back to our LTS Special Independence Day feature, talking to you about financial independence. Of course, you just heard from the expert at GK Capital. And of course, Yoneil, what struck you most from that interview?
What struck me most was that I cannot spend more than I earn. And I think a lot of us are guilty of that. Some of us live from paycheck to paycheck. Some of us actually have loans to pay for even before you get the salary. So by the time the salary comes, it's already finished, and you are not able to pay for the things in the current month. But I remember something that I heard on another program. A lady said that you can't spend your money until it's pregnant.
Ah.
And to me, that was profound, because you really can't spend what you don't have, but a lot of us live that way through our C cards. I'm not going to say its name out loud, but we spend before we earn for real. So that's one way for me to become financially independent. That's one way for you to become financially independent. But also that we need to wait.
Yeah, because you see, essentially, what the big thing from GK Capital is saying is you have to make that sacrifice. Whatever your earnings is, you must take something out of it. And that's why it's saying don't spend more than you earn. Take something out of it, but don't just take it and put it down. Invest it to grow and to build up that passive income. It might be that we're not getting immediately the returns that we want. It might be, as Jane had said to us, look, you might have to be building the wealth or financial independence, not necessarily for you, but for the next generation. But the fact is, we must plan, we must set those goals, and we must make those sacrifices and invest.
And along with the sacrifice is stick-to-itiveness.
Absolutely.
So every January, probably the 1st to the 5th, or end of December, we plan how we're going to do this. And guilty every year. And I'm going to save. By the way, there's also the advice that we're supposed to pay ourselves first.
Absolutely.
So for those of us who are children of God like me, we pay our tithes. That's supposed to come out first. But we're supposed to pay ourselves second, because we need to be saving. But there's so many things to pay for, and so many miscellaneous on our budget, and so many, I didn't plan for this. Or, ladies, you're guilty of this. I just saw this cute shoes and I need to get it. But I don't really need it. So like he said, we're supposed to do some sacrifice.
You know, interestingly, if we go back to Rose Miller, the Jamaica National, she said, I was surprised when she said it. She says you have to take out 20%. So she gave us the 80-20 rule. So you're only spending 80, and it's exactly what you said. That 10, if you're Christian and you have to pay your tithes and so on, then 10 must come out for that. Or if you're not Christian, but you must remember, again, we're coming back to the Jamaica pledge and in service of our fellow citizens, that 10 should go to a charity, taking care of somebody, and the next 10 should be your investment.
Yes.
And are we doing that?
Not as much as we should. And you see that sacrifice, If we think of the sacrifices that our heroes and heroine made for us to be emancipated first, which we celebrated last week, Thursday, and then all the other persons who made sure that we're not under colonial rule anymore, that same belly bottom sacrifice that they did for us, that we can actually be here talking this freely, is the same kind of sacrifices we need to make for ourselves and for our family, because like I said, I may not be able to benefit from that financial independence.
Well, I'll tell you a story. We don't even need to go back that far. Just look at our parents, especially those of us who come from rural upbringing. Those parents made sacrifices for their children, and they always planned. So Mas Joe ran his farm, and he looked at the children. He knew their skill sets. He says, this one has to go learn trade, because you know him not academic. This one has to go do that, and this one is going to high school or university. And they put away the money. And those same people built their houses one block at a one room at a time, finished with mansions, not owing a cent to anybody. And that's the other thing that we need to learn if we're going to be financially independent. It's not that we mustn't use debt, but it's how we use the debt. It's how we use it, and it's very important that we use the debt to grow our income. And so as we look to wrap, and instead of giving us the wrap-up signal, which tells me we're not all that independent. But as we look to wrap, what would you want to leave on the minds of the viewers on this, our 62nd anniversary of our independence?
It's August 6, 2024. Start now. Start today. And I'm telling you from my heart, because it has been on me, that there are things that I'd like to do and I can't. But start now. The other persons that you see out there who appear to be financially independent, they're just like us. They just took the right moves, made them at the right time, and they made sacrifices, and they have stick-to-itiveness. By the way, not spend your money before you're pregnant. Happy independence.
I absolutely like that. I couldn't have said it better. The fact of the matter is, Jamaica, everyone can become financially independent. Jamaica is not a poor country, and therefore we are not poor people. And again, in the words of another former prime minister, we are, as a country, too rich to be so poor. I therefore urge each and every one of us, regardless of how much you are earning now, begin to plan, begin to make the steps, begin to invest, do the sacrifice. Happy Independence, Jamaica.